Hi, folks. You were Tacitus today. Your pushback channel, Tacitus today, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about a run of so-called surveys that have come out, and they're being posted, as far as I can tell, mostly on business-type websites. And the two primary issues that they're pushing is, on one hand, the best places to work, supposedly by vote from people sort of under the age of 35, from the best I can guess. But the best places to work and the companies that have what are the skills that are in big demand today. So let's look at both of those, because they sort of, I mean, they're both pure propaganda, but it illustrates the direction that the globalist propaganda and deception machine is trying to push us all in, and particularly influence young people and persuade them as to what the new or the most cool outlook is to have in the employment marketplace. So so just looking at the employment skills, instead of listing skills in this action as in technical skills, that you're an engineer or something and you have skills, instead of that, it's all to do with empathy with LGBTQ. If you use a trans person's desired pronoun, then that's now a job skill. If you're on the lookout for evil Nazis, then that's a job skill. If you can spot a white supremacist, then that's a job skill. So there's actually no skill that they're talking about as in any technical or competency type skill. It's all ideological, and it's all to do with if you hire black and brown unqualified people, then you're an HR operative or something, then that's a skill. If you deny a job to a straight white male who is competent and skilled and qualified, then that is also now a skill. So they're trying to change, have partially succeeded already, I think, trying to change this idea that actual skills, as in technical skills and anything that can be independently measured, engaged, and evaluated, that's gone. Those days are out. The only thing that matters is that your fervent belief in Black Lives Matter. Do you believe in all black people are entitled to slavery compensation, regardless whether they've been slaves ever or not? Somehow being black means they've been evilly denied opportunities, and uniquely only denied those opportunities by white people, therefore, and so on. So it's clearly the critical race theory sort of writ large and penetrating into the corporate sphere. Now, these things have appeared on, what would otherwise be considered as somewhat reputable business websites, which have, over the last few years have just been completely given over to doing globalist propaganda messaging. And you see it now in all the, like if you look at the news, the business news section, short paragraphs of companies making announcements. It used to be a space where companies would announce, say they brought out a new product, or they'd upgraded it to some new higher level of technology, or maybe they'd signed a big business deal, worth gazillions, or there would be someone had been sort of CEO level type promotions and hirings, that sort of stuff. That's all gone. That is out the window. Now people are competing with how many black lesbians they hired, that their trainee program focuses completely on trans people, how many trans people they hired, how many trans people were promoted, how they've got a new pronouns policy. That's the entire business press release section now. And, if I look at, this is the pre-internet days, when I look at the magazines that used to do the press releasing stuff, it's almost done, but could be a separate universe in terms of the difference. it was strictly business and strictly technical, strictly commercial. Now you struggle to find anything commercial in there. It's all been given over to just propaganda and globalist CRT, spreading social division, all that sort of stuff. It's hard to believe it's happening. You sort of have to do a double take and look at, no, it's not happening, but of course it is. The other side of it is, what are the most desirable companies to work at, supposedly? Again, I don't believe any of this. It's all propaganda, or maybe they just went and asked a bunch of gender studies lesbians or something and used that as the framework. But what they're arguing here, or the propaganda is pushing rather, is that the most desirable places to work are the places that have firstly a minority of white people. That's absolutely critical. If it's a nice place to work, that can only be a minority of white people, and it must have women in minimum 50% of managerial roles and senior managerial roles, and the promotion system, the reward and promotion system, has to be based on how woke you are. So if you're you're out placard waving about climate change, that sort of stuff, then and the company gives you time off to do it and pays you to do it, then that's a great place to work. So if you're able to go and be employed there and paid there, but are able to continue your activist activities of protesting and placard waving and getting out on the street and that sort of stuff, and be given the time off by the company and paid for it, as you would be in a gender studies course in college, for example, then that's a great place to work, and those are the right sort of places to work. A company that doesn't have those policies, the super woke LGBTQ trans company that doesn't have those policies, must be by definition an awful place to work, filled with fascist Nazis, white supremacists. And a company that has black lesbians in all key management positions must be a good place to work. Must be. How could it not be? So I noticed this. Now, there's a few of these sort of things have been coming around, sort of, I don't know, the last 12 months, I suppose, but they haven't been that often, and I didn't necessarily see a pattern. But this seems to have been ramped up over the last couple of weeks, 10 days. This has been ramped up, so clearly there's something going on here. It's just way too coordinated to be some grassroots or some rando event. So it'd be interesting to see what comes along. But this will be interesting, like I don't know, you're a kid or someone fairly young, you go for a job interview and you start talking about your capabilities and your achievements and your qualifications, and they say, we don't give a fuck about that. You have to tell us how many times you've used a proper pronoun for a trans person, and that's the only reason we'll hire you. How many black lesbian friends do you have? I mean, the whole world's gone fucking mad. Seriously, you've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.